if you look at food production and food consumption, Asia is where meat consumption is increasing faster than anywhere else in the world. In Asia-Pacific, it's surprising to a lot of people, but Asia-Pacific is where 46% of the global meat is consumed today. And it's getting harder and harder to produce that. And we're seeing challenges, really throughout Asia for how to produce and meet that growing demand. And so there's a big food safety, food security challenges that are just growing, really throughout Asia. And it's driven by the consumption of meat. And so for this forum, it's a great time for that as we look at different ways to do that. A world need is not necessarily going to drive the innovation. At the end of the day, consumers do. Because if you're making products that are better for the world, more sustainable, but they don't taste good, or people don't want to buy them, you're not going to get anywhere. And so if you look at the end of the day, is you have to produce products that consumers actually prefer. And we're seeing a lot of changes that are driving the innovation from a consumer side. One is products are getting to the point that consumers actually do enjoy them and do like them. And if you're a hardcore meat eater, you actually choose them. And then the second is people are getting much more aware of the environmental impacts of food. And so we look at this today as like the growing population and the growing need. 45% of the world's land is used for this. And when we did our surveys 3 years ago, the environmental benefits of plant-based foods were in the bottom few out of 15-point factors that drive consumption. Now environmental benefits and plant-based foods are the number 3 purchase driver. And it's changing, and that's what's driving companies to really invest in this. We're in our infancy, we're just starting, but we have to change over a lot of infrastructure to make that happen, grow different crops, really for human consumption and human nutrition instead of animal nutrition. And that transition of the whole supply chain is going to take some time. You have soy protein, wheat protein that are really scaled protein crops from plants. We didn't know there are a dozen of those with different properties, different applications, and that's going to take time to build. In forums like this, you hear people talking about that. I was just talking to somebody who has a new protein that they're scaling up and building a facility for, and that's great because we need to see that. Well, our mission is by 2035, our goal is to completely replace animals in the food system. And by doing that, we could use less than 10% of the global arable land surface that we're using today for animal agriculture to feed the whole population. And that would just drastically reduce the pressure, drastically reduce greenhouse gas emissions, water pollution, land use, really enable biodiversity to be restored. And so that's the future. I look at this, as soon as you have products that can actually produce benefits to consumers that are better than what they get today, things can change very, very fast.